You are a deep-sea salvager, one of the last few who brave the crushing depths to reclaim the forgotten treasures of a drowned world. The year is 2247, and Earth's surface resources are long exhausted, forcing humanity to plumb the ocean floor for every scrap of technology, every ounce of rare earth, every relic that might offer a glimmer of hope or a forgotten solution. Your life is a monotonous ballet of pressure and darkness, a solitary existence punctuated only by the rhythmic hum of your sub's thrusters, the distant crackle of sonar, and the occasional fleeting shadow of an abyssal creature passing your viewport. Today is no different. You descend into the abyssal plain, the familiar blue light fading to an oppressive black, the pressure outside your viewport increasing with every meter. Your submersible, the Nautilus 4, is a battered but reliable workhorse, its external lights cutting a narrow path through the inky void. The mission, a routine sweep of Sector Gamma 7, a known debris field littered with the skeletal remains of pre-collapse infrastructure, sunken data farms, forgotten research stations, the occasional luxury liner that never made it to port. Your manipulators are poised, ready to scoop up the usual haul of corroded circuit boards, twisted metal, and the occasional perfectly preserved antique data drive, a digital ghost from a bygone era, whispering tales of a world long gone. Hours blur into a rhythm of scanning, identifying, and retrieving. The sonar pings, a constant, reassuring heartbeat in the vast silence. Your monitors display the familiar patterns of decay, the predictable signatures of rust and ruin. But then a flicker, a deviation. A signal, faint at first, then growing with an unsettling clarity, unlike anything you've ever encountered in these depths. It's too coherent, too structured to be natural. And it's definitely not from any known human wreckage. It emanates from an object that, by all rights, should not exist here, an anomaly. A perfect, impossible whisper in the deafening silence of the deep. Your heart, usually a steady drumbeat of professional calm, quickens just a fraction, a tiny tremor in the vast, cold silence. This isn't on the manifest, this isn't routine, this is something entirely new, entirely unexpected. The signal tugs at you, a phantom current in the dark ocean of your curiosity, pulling you inexorably towards its source, overriding all caution. You override the pre-programmed salvage route, your fingers dancing across the console, redirecting the Nautilus 4 towards the source. The hum of the thrusters deepens as you push past the designated search area, venturing into uncharted territory on your charts. The familiar debris field gives way to an untouched expanse of abyssal plain, a desolate, primeval landscape of volcanic vents and hydrothermal chimneys, where life thrives in bizarre alien forms, untouched by human presence for millennia. As you draw closer, the signal strengthens, resolving into a complex, multi-layered resonance that vibrates through the very hull of your sub. Your internal sensors begin to register colossal structural echoes, faint at first, then growing into an overwhelming presence. What you see next steals the breath from your lungs, even in the recycled air of your cockpit. Emerging from the perpetual gloom, a colossal, monolithic structure looms before you. It's not merely large, it's gargantuan, dwarfing your submersible like a pebble beside a mountain. Its surface is not metal, nor rock, nor any material you recognize. It's a dark, seamless expanse, an impossible geometry that seems to absorb the very light from your powerful floodlights, rendering the surrounding darkness even more profound. Jagged, angular forms interlock with smooth, flowing curves in a design that defies human engineering principles. There are no rivets, no seams, no visible means of construction. It simply is. This isn't a shipwreck. This isn't a forgotten base. This is something else entirely. Ancient. Alien. It pulsates with an unspoken power, a silent testament to an intelligence utterly beyond your comprehension. The sheer scale of it is overwhelming, a physical manifestation of an impossible secret. It stretches into the darkness above and below, a titanic monument to a civilization unknown, hidden for millennia beneath the crushing weight of the ocean. A profound sense of awe, tinged with a primal, instinctual fear, washes over you, chilling you to the bone despite the sub's climate control. This isn't merely an object, it's a statement, a challenge, a silent question demanding an answer. And you, a solitary salvager, are the one who has stumbled upon it. The signal now emanates from a specific point on the structure's vast face, a subtle distortion in its otherwise flawless surface. You pilot the Nautilus 4 with meticulous care, your every move deliberate, your gaze fixed on the anomaly. As you approach, the distortion resolves into what appears to be an entrance, partially obscured by centuries of accumulated sediment and a strange, crystalline growth that glows with a faint, inner luminescence. It's a gaping maw in the dark edifice, an invitation to a secret, a promise of revelation and peril in equal measure. Your sub's external lights illuminate the opening, revealing intricate, almost organic patterns etched into the strange material around it. They resemble no known language, no terrestrial art. The entrance is narrow, far too narrow for a standard approach, and a significant portion is blocked by a massive, fallen slab of the same alien material. Retreat is an option, a sensible, logical option, screaming at you from every corner of your rational mind. But the pull of the unknown, the sheer impossibility of what lies before you, overrides every instinct for self-preservation, a siren song from the abyss. This discovery, you realize, is worth any risk. You initiate a series of delicate, risky maneuvers. Engaging the lateral thrusters, you angle the Nautilus 4, scraping its reinforced hull against the rough, crystalline edges of the opening. Alarms blare softly as stress indicators spike on your console. The sub groans, a metallic shriek of protest against the immense pressure and the tight squeeze. You cut the main lights, relying on the narrow beams of your auxiliary spotlights, inching forward, centimeter by agonizing centimeter. The sediment clouds your view, reducing visibility to near zero. You navigate by sonar alone, trusting the echoes to guide you through the impossibly tight gap. A final jarring scrape, a metallic shriek that echoes through the cabin. The sub shudders violently, throwing you against your safety harness, the impact rattling your teeth. Then, silence. The pressure outside your viewport changes, a subtle but distinct shift in the deep. The light from the external growth intensifies for a moment, then dims. You are inside. The narrow passage opens into a vast, cavernous space, the true scale of which your lights cannot yet fully reveal. Your heart pounds, a frantic drum against your ribs. The air inside the structure feels different, strangely still, yet charged with an unseen energy. You are no longer merely exploring, you are trespassing. And the true, terrifying nature of this unknown realm, this forgotten world, is about to unfold before your disbelieving eyes. The initial cavern proves to be merely an antechamber, leading into a sprawling network of corridors and chambers that stretch beyond the reach of your sub's lights. You activate your internal mapping systems, watching in awe as the blank spaces on your screen begin to fill with an impossibly complex blueprint. The architecture is a baffling blend of the organic and the mechanical, smooth, curved walls intersecting with sharp, crystalline angles. The air, though recycled, carries a faint, metallic tang, like ozone mixed with something ancient and mineral, a scent that prickles your nostrils. You pilot the Nautilus 4 deeper, your powerful lights cutting through the pervasive gloom. Everywhere you look, there are traces of a long-vanished civilization. Strange, luminous symbols adorn the walls, glowing with a soft internal light that seems to pulse in time with the faint hum that now permeates the structure. They are not pictograms nor hieroglyphs, but intricate fractal patterns that twist and turn, hinting at complex concepts and alien philosophies. You try to log them, but your systems struggle to process their non-Euclidean geometry, failing to categorize them. Ahead, you discover vast chambers filled with dormant machinery. Colossal mechanisms, unlike anything conceived by human minds, stand silent and still, their surfaces gleaming with an unblemished obsidian-like material. They are not powered by wires or conduits you recognize, but seem to draw energy from the very fabric of the structure itself. Some resemble intricate biological organs, others impossible crystalline engines. They are not broken, not decayed, merely quiescent, waiting for a trigger, for a touch, for a moment to awaken. This isn't just a discovery, it's a revelation. This isn't a crashed ship or a forgotten outpost. This is a tomb, a time capsule, a forgotten sanctuary of an advanced species. You pass through what appears to be a grand hall, its ceiling arching hundreds of meters above, adorned with intricate starlight constellations that glow with a cool blue light. You see what might be control panels, their surfaces covered in the same strange symbols, their dormant lights hinting at untold functions, untold powers. You are navigating through the heart of a civilization lost to time, a silent city beneath the waves, its secrets waiting to be awakened. The sheer weight of history, of alien existence, presses down on you, more profound than the ocean itself. Every fiber of your being screams that you are witnessing something that should not be seen, something sacred and terrifying, something that could shatter human understanding. The silence, once profound and ancient, shatters without warning. A low thrum, which you had attributed to the structure's natural resonance, suddenly intensifies, rising in pitch and volume until it vibrates through the very bones of your sub, a deep, guttural growl. The luminous symbols on the walls, previously a soft glow, flare with an aggressive, pulsing brilliance, casting dancing shadows that seem to mock your presence. The dormant mechanisms around you begin to stir, their massive forms shifting with a menacing slowness. A colossal, multi-jointed arm, previously indistinguishable from the background architecture, slowly extends from a recessed alcove. Its movements are fluid, silent, and terrifyingly purposeful, like a predator unfurling itself. Other sections of the structure begin to shift, massive panels sliding open to reveal hidden conduits and glowing energy channels, networks of power coming to life. The air crackles with an unseen power, a palpable menace. Your console screams. Alarms blare, red lights flashing across your dashboard. Hull breach detected! Pressure differential. Warning. Warning! The Nautilus 4 shudders violently as something impacts its stern with immense force. You are thrown forward, your head hitting the reinforced viewport with a dull thud. Dazed, you glance at the rear monitors, your vision swimming. A massive crystalline tendril glowing with an ominous green light retracts from the sub's damaged propulsion unit, leaving a gaping wound. Sparks fly, systems flicker, dying. Engine power at 30%, life support fluctuating. Critical damage sustained, the automated voice warns, its calm, synthesized tone a stark contrast to the chaos and terror engulfing you. You try to engage reverse thrusters, but nothing happens. The propulsion system is crippled, utterly destroyed. The path you used to enter, the narrow passage you so carefully navigated, begins to seal itself. Massive, interlocking plates of the alien material slide into place with a grinding roar, effectively entombing you within the structure, cutting off all retreat. You are no longer an explorer, you are not a salvager, you are prey. The structure, which seemed to slumber for millennia, has awakened, and you are trapped within its living, breathing depths. The silent city has become a monstrous trap, and you, its sole occupant, are now caught in its ancient, unforgiving grasp. The hum intensifies, becoming a deafening roar, a predatory growl from the abyss itself, a sound of pure, unadulterated malevolence. Panic is a luxury you cannot afford. Your training kicks in, overriding the primal fear that threatens to consume you, forcing a cold, hard logic to the forefront. Damage report, you bark, your voice hoarse, barely audible over the din. The Nautilus 4 lists precariously, its internal lights flickering erratically, casting dancing shadows of impending doom. The main propulsion is dead. Auxiliary thrusters are barely operational, whimpering protests against the strain. Life support is stable for now, but for how long? The sealing of the entrance means no escape the way you came. You are deep inside, hunted, cornered. The crystalline tendrils, now fully active, slither through the corridors, their tips glowing with malevolent energy, seeking your heat signature. They are seeking you, probing the spaces, their movements unnervingly intelligent, deliberate. You engage the auxiliary thrusters, pushing the damaged sub forward, deeper into the unknown, hoping to find another exit, any exit, a way out of this nightmare. The map on your console, once a reliable guide, now shows an ever-changing labyrinth as new sections of the structure reconfigure themselves, blocking paths, opening new, terrifying ones. You navigate through rapidly collapsing sections, dodging falling debris of alien material that would crush your sub instantly, turning it into a twisted metal coffin. Explosions rock the structure, distant at first, then closer, as internal systems overload, or perhaps as the structure actively attacks itself to flush you out, to corner you. You activate your emergency repair drones, sending them to patch the hull breaches, but they are too slow, too small, too fragile against the relentless onslaught. A tendril lashes out, striking your viewport with a sickening thud. The reinforced glass cracks, spiderwebbing outwards, 1,000 tiny fractures threatening to give way. You flinch, pressing yourself back against your seat, heart hammering a frantic rhythm against your ribs. Pressure integrity critical! Imminent breach, the system screams, its voice now laced with urgency. You fire a desperate burst from your emergency flares, hoping to disorient your pursuer, buying precious seconds, a fleeting moment of respite. The flare illuminates a new path, a narrow, dark shaft descending sharply into the abyss. It's a gamble, a desperate plunge into utter darkness, into the unknown, but staying here means certain death. There is no other choice. You override the safety protocols, forcing the damaged sub into the shaft. The Nautilus 4 groans, its weakened frame protesting the violent descent, the immense pressure. The tendrils are right behind you, their green glow illuminating the shaft as they chase, a hungry light in the dark. You can hear the grinding of metal, the shriek of stressed alloys, the tearing of the hull. Every meter is a battle, every second a fight for survival, a desperate scramble for breath. The structure is alive, and it wants you gone, annihilated. The shaft leads to a series of increasingly violent currents, ancient geothermal vents that roar through the structure's outer shell, a natural defense mechanism. You are buffeted mercilessly, the Nautilus 4 a mere toy in the face of such raw, untamed power. The tendrils, unable to withstand the turbulence, fall back, their pursuit thwarted by the very forces of the deep. But your sub is at its breaking point, groaning under the strain. Alarms shriek continuously, a cacophony of impending doom. The viewport is a mosaic of cracks, a fragile barrier against the abyss. Water begins to seep in, cold and relentless, rising steadily in the cockpit. You fight the controls, wrestling the battered vessel through the chaotic currents, a desperate gamble for survival, for life. The structure's outer shell, once an impenetrable fortress, now appears fractured, weakened by the internal cataclysm, by your desperate struggle. A faint, distant light appears ahead, not the alien glow, but the familiar, albeit muted light of the deep ocean, the promise of the surface. Hope, a fragile, dangerous thing, ignites within you, a desperate flicker in the darkness. With a final, agonizing groan, a wrenching tear of metal, the Nautilus 4 bursts free. You are propelled upwards, a broken projectile launched from the depths, a desperate escape. The sub is a wreck, its external systems mangled beyond recognition, its internal compartments flooding rapidly. You brace for impact, the surface rushing towards you with terrifying speed, a blurry expanse of light. The ascent is a blur of agony and adrenaline, a primal scream of survival. You breach the surface not with a graceful rise, but with a violent, explosive splash, sending geysers of water skyward, a roar of triumph and despair. The Nautilus 4, its mission parameters long forgotten, its structural integrity compromised beyond repair, bobs precariously half-submerged, a dying leviathan. You scramble out of the cockpit, gasping for air, gulping in the fresh, cold ocean air, the water already swirling around your knees, threatening to pull you back down. In your hand, clutched with an unconscious, desperate grip, is a small, obsidian-like object. You must have grabbed it during the frantic escape, a piece of the structure that broke off, or perhaps something you instinctively salvaged from a control panel, a last-ditch act of a salvager. It's smooth, impossibly heavy for its size, and glows with the same faint internal luminescence as the symbols you saw inside. The morning sun, a distant alien warmth, hits your face, blinding you momentarily. The world above seems different, sharper, more vibrant, yet utterly insignificant compared to the impossible reality you just escaped. The crushing weight of the deep, the silent scream of the awakened structure, the alien technology, it's all seared into your mind, an indelible brand, a permanent scar on your psyche. You survived, but you are not the same. You can never be the same. The rescue team finds you hours later, adrift amidst the wreckage of the Nautilus 4, a ghost ship on the waves. They pull you from the water, shivering uncontrollably, dazed but miraculously alive. You offer a garbled account of equipment malfunction, a rogue current, anything to explain the state of your sub without revealing the impossible truth, the terrifying reality. They nod, accustomed to the strange tales of the deep, attributing your wild-eyed look to shock and hypothermia, to the trauma of the abyss. They don't see the obsidian artifact you've managed to hide in your suit pocket, its faint glow now almost imperceptible in the harsh daylight, a secret burning against your skin. Days turn into weeks. You are debriefed, patched up, declared fit for duty, but your world has irrevocably shifted. The monotonous life of a deep-sea salvager, once your entire existence, now feels like a hollow echo, a meaningless charade. The familiar hum of the sub, the endless search for forgotten scraps, it all seems trivial, meaningless, utterly pointless after what you have seen. You carry a secret, a truth that could redefine humanity's place in the cosmos, a revelation that could either usher in an era of unimaginable advancement or plunge the world into an existential nightmare, a terror beyond comprehension. The artifact is your constant companion. In the solitude of your small apartment, far from the prying eyes of your superiors, you examine it under the cover of darkness. It pulses faintly in your hand, a slow, rhythmic beat, like a dormant heart, a whisper of life from another world. Sometimes, when you hold it, you feel a faint resonance, a whisper of information, a fleeting glimpse of complex data structures that flash through your mind before vanishing, too fast to grasp, too alien to comprehend. It is a key, you realize, to something vast, something powerful, something that dwarfs all human understanding. Your old life is gone. The salvage missions, the meager pay, the quiet anonymity, it's all a distant memory, a forgotten dream. You are no longer just a salvager. You are a custodian of an impossible truth, a silent witness to the dawn of a new, terrifying reality. The fate of the world, perhaps, rests in your hands. Do you reveal what you found? Do you present this artifact, this undeniable proof of alien intelligence, to a humanity desperate for answers, for resources, for a future, for salvation? Or do you keep it hidden, protecting the world from a knowledge it might not be ready for, a power it might misuse, a terror it cannot possibly fathom? You look at the artifact, its surface now glowing with a slightly stronger, more insistent light, a steady thrum that reverberates through your palm. It's not just a piece of technology, it's a beacon. And as you hold it, you realize with a chilling, soul-shattering certainty that the signal you followed into the abyss, the one that led you to the colossal structure, wasn't just a faint echo from a forgotten past. It was a call, and now holding the artifact, you understand. The structure didn't just awaken when you entered, it awakened because you entered. And the signal wasn't just a discovery, it was an invitation. And you, the deep-sea salvager, were never the explorer. You were merely the delivery system.